Alright guys, what's going on? Quancredible here for Black Clover chapter 211. It looks like we are finally at the conclusion of this fight between the devil and literally everyone else. So this is definitely probably the most well organized or well choreographed chapters, just the way everything like kind of went down. So just gonna get right into the review here so we can talk about it later. So the chapter basically begins with Nero remembering back, thinking on how she always thought that Asta would never make it to be the Wizard King and how she never really thought he would make it this far. All the while Asta and Yuno are doing the best to fight against the devil's, like, I guess, newer version of his spell that just summoned more, just like, I guess, monsters from the other world. So Yuno's being amped by the Prince's Light, which is helping him move a lot faster and overall giving him an extra layer of protection against the magic from the other world, while Asta doesn't have that at all. Also, it's worth noting that Yuno's form doesn't really put any strain on him, whereas Asta's does. So it's at this exact moment that Yuno's realizing that, hey, I'm actually fine, but Asta is at his limit. So Yuno motivates him the only way he knows how, which is by basically taunting him to, I guess, get Asta to keep up. And then this part of the chapter I really like. Since Yuno is moving faster than Asta is at this moment, and Asta's magic naturally chases strong magic, Asta's kind of using Yuno, or it could be the other way around. Yuno's using Asta, where Yuno's moving forward and then it's kind of trailing Asta along with him to help him keep up. The devil notices this and he says, well, your wind can't cut me, and the anti-magic brat being Asta is only being dragged along. There's not really much that you guys can do since I know what is happening. However, they use this to their advantage, and from the devil's perspective, it looks like just Yuno's coming straight at him with Asta behind him. So then when Yuno cuts around, Asta's no longer behind him. Asta actually already cut around to the other side to the devil's blind spot. Which honestly, like, it is a good plan, not gonna lie. I guess like my expectations for the devil in terms of how, I guess, smart he is or battle savvy he is was just really high, when really he's kind of average. He's, or not average, but I mean he's still able to be outsmarted because this wasn't really a really complex plan. It was just really clever. Like, he definitely got outsmarted on this one. So, like I said, also he cut around and the devil realized this, like, oh crap, he's in my blind spot. And then also Yuno speeding up, which is causing Asta to speed up just because Yuno's generating more magic power. So they're like coming in to sandwich him, and it just works out really well. I thought that was really well choreographed and like just well thought out. And then also while he's getting attacked on both sides by them, he seems to get extremely desperate right here. He's yelling like stop and be weakened and go back and be driven away and all of that. And it just really brings home that, like, I wonder how much he can actually affect people in terms of his word magic. Because when we look at it, the only time he ever affected an actual person with his word magic, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was when he used it to bring Partry closer to him, which isn't really, like, I guess, high level word magic when you really think about it. Of course, at this moment, Asta literally reaches his actual limit and goes out of his black form, which causes the devil to capture Yuno. But then while this is happening, Yami is still, I guess, focusing and channeling his power for his attack. Even Charlotte notes how much focus he has at this moment, but even herself, she feels that the distance is just too great for this kind of spell. And then also for the first time, we've seen something that I never thought we would see. Yami's cigarette falls out of his mouth. I feel like this is extremely symbolic of like Yami's taking this like 110% serious. Not saying he hasn't taken off his other fights in the past series, but it's like this is like that next level of serious. Like almost like when like Kakashi closes his book and lifts up his like headband. It's like, okay, this is like actually serious. Anyway, he's having a flashback about when Julius appointed him to be captain, and I guess he's using that as motivation. And then big reveal here: Yami can use Mana Zone. He uses Mana Zone. He basically uses a Mana Zone amped version of Dimension Slash, which, if you need to brush up on the finer points of Mana Zone, I have already made a video about that conveniently, so you can check that out if you want to. But as a quick cliff notes or spark notes, Mana Zone will basically boost up your magic power or magic ability by using the mana in the area. So you probably use just the surrounding mana to, I guess, give him a even bigger, amped, more powerful Dark Dimension Slash, which goes across the Shadow Palace to hit the devil. Now, the thing is, when I say across the Shadow Palace, not to get like crazy here. I mean, granted, Yami did launch the spell from a very great distance. The exact distance we do not know. Because if you look at the map of where everything took place, the very top floor is where all the fighting is going on. That's where Lich initially was, and that's where the devil went to after he left Partry to fight Asta and Yuno. Now, Yami was in that exact same room, except it got covered up by all of the otherworldly magic, and then after Lich's spell, it got broken down. So, and then it being broken down made Yami and Charlotte, who he was with, just be a bit farther down. It is very likely to say that without the otherworldly magic there, they wouldn't be able to physically see each other, which could indicate that this could stretch over like a mile or so. But at the same time, I guess I don't want to overhype it to make it seem like he shot it from like thousands of miles away. It is still a really impressive feat and really hype, but just trying to, I guess, reel it in. So of course, as we knew earlier, dark magic does affect him, and it does affect otherworldly magic. So the devil took 100% super effective damage from this, and he's like, all of his mouths are throwing up. He's not in a good place right now. At this time, Nero heals Asta to seal some of the damage that has happened. Um, I'm not for sure who he attempted to attack when he says die and shot this little like spear out of his mouth. I don't know if he was trying to defend himself against Asta, or if he tried to take out a quick vengeance kill on Yuno. Either way, Yuno wasn't having it and broke out and broke that, I guess, little spear thing he had. And then Asta, from at this moment, just says goodbye to his limits and makes this super huge dark divider sword and cuts clean through the devil and his heart. So yeah, it was basically a really good joint team effort. Of course, no one is saying that any of these people could have beat the devil in a one-on-one fair fight. That just wasn't gonna happen. But I think the way it was teamed together was pretty good. There wasn't too many like really cheesy cliche moments. I definitely think that the devil is done for sure, for sure. I think this was like that top climax part right here where all this is coming together, and then at the end we're going to like maybe like next chapter after that, we're definitely going to get wrap up on like how we're going to escape and what's going to happen to the elves that have possessed human bodies, and the wrap up with like Partry and Lich and all that stuff. That's all going to be really interesting to see, like just the overall aftermath of this. But I definitely do think the devil is done. I don't think there's another form going to pop out. But yeah, definitely the major takeaways here are, or one big topic to talk about in this chapter would be Yami's using Monozone. Like, I'm not for sure if he always could use Monozone. Like, I'm not for sure if he just like surpassed his limits at this exact moment and used it. I mean, granted, that would fit Yami's character. Like, he definitely is like an answer to the Call of Duty type character. But I don't know. At any rate, this definitely is a huge feat for Yami, and then also a huge feat for Asta by making the super huge Dark Divider sword. Now, another thing that I've seen a lot of people bring up already is that in the panel where he makes the extra large Dark Divider sword, we see like this other small wing type thing. Now, I'm on the fence about that. I don't necessarily think it's another wing. Like, I think it's just how the picture is drawn. Granted, there's a lot of black and we can't really see depth in this picture just because it's a lot of like flat black on like a gray background. So there's not really not a lot of depth that we can see there. If it is a second wing, cool. I'm all for it. But just me personally, I don't think it is. That's just my opinion on it. Let me know what you guys think it is. If you guys think it's a second wing, or just like I said, just how the picture's drawn. Let me know how you guys feel about Yami and his newly acquired Monozone, or newly revealed Monozone, I should say. Do you guys want the devil to be done here and now, or do you guys want to see another form? Let me know all these things down below in the comments. Like and sub if you enjoy. Feel free to share. And outside of that, I will catch you guys in my next video.